Hi, so you're thinking about moving to Rockland County, New York. I made many videos talking about Stony Point, New City, Nyack, and many areas in Rockland County in general. Now you may be asking yourself, what are the pros and cons of Rockland County? In this video, I will give you the reasons why not to move here, as well as why many people do move here. So you will be able to make a decision as to what works for you. This is the pros and cons of living in Rockland County. Hi, my name is Betsy Estrella Mejia, and I am a real estate agent in the state of New York. My channel is all about living in Rockland County, so subscribe and stay tuned. If you're thinking about moving, reach out. I would love to help you. Let's jump into the first point, which is taxes. Why is taxes a con? Because in the state of New York, we have very high taxes. However, when you're buying a property in especially Rockland County, when we are buying, we have to have more money to put into escrow because we are required to have 12 months of taxes. And unfortunately, since New York State have very high taxes, especially in our area, which it ranges between 12 to 14, depending on the size of the home, that's just an average. Right from the get-go, you know that you need a big chunk of money. Now, one of the biggest cons of living in Rockland County is really the cost of living. When we take into consideration Rockland County home values that are about 590 plus versus many other properties across the board in the US that are like about 328, it's actually an increase of 80% taking into consideration when you are going to move to Rockland County. So it can be pretty expensive. The premium of living in the proximity of New York City is the price to pay, and it might be a little bit too much for some, but that's what you get to be at the proximity of the biggest, most luxurious and desired cities in the US. Now, let's take into consideration that average price of home in Rockland County for $592, for example, $590. You are not gonna get a luxury property or a super duper nicely updated home. Yes, it depends as to where in Rockland County for you to get the space and the size. However, a house in the 500 is not gonna be fully updated or gonna be like a luxury bigger home. You might get a little bit more rundown or a house that needs some cosmetics. If you're looking into the 300, 400 price point, your best bet will be probably a townhome or even a condo in the area, depending on the amount of rooms that you're looking to have. Now, if you want a house that is waterfront, then that's gonna cost you more. So it depends on the amenities that you would like to have in order for you to get everything else under that price point. Now, if you're coming from areas from down south, like for example, rural Texas, you are expecting to have a mansion, a castle type of home with 5,000 square feet. That's not happening. Not Rockland, not New York per se, if that's what you're looking for. I once had a client who expected to have a bigger home in that price point, and unfortunately that's not doable, not over here. With that being said, also the cost of living can be seen as a pro in Rockland County because compared to nearby areas, still much more affordable. It is less expensive to live by. So let's say that we're gonna compare it with Westchester or Long Island, Brooklyn, even Queens. The cost of living is much less in Rockland County than it is in many of the New York City areas itself. If we are comparing it, for example, to a property that is in Queens or in the Bronx that is run down, over there, it could cost you almost $1 million. In Rockland County, it will be half of that amount. Many people, when they coming actually from the city to the Rockland County area and they see the bigger yards that they can have and much more square footage for what they can obtain, and then it is very good pricing for what they can actually obtain in the city itself. And that's a true statement. If we would like to compare it to the surrounding areas, for example, like Westchester, then the price points is much higher, same as the taxes. It's an increase of 117% compared to the national average. So it becomes then a pro instead of a con living in Rockland County. Many of the things of the cost of living, for example, is the gas per gallon. And right now we have it at a $3.21 around me, when in many areas, even New Jersey, that it tends to be a little bit less expensive. It's about either the same or a couple of dollars more because we have an incentive on the taxes that we pay in the gas. So we don't have any taxes on the gas right now. And groceries. My mom actually was was here this weekend and we went out to shop for some things, and she decided to do her full food shopping over here because it's literally half of the price of what she can see over there. I know everybody knows that the eggs are expensive right now, but we have it for and change, and she told me that she buy 12 eggs for $8, so it's double the amount. So yes, the prices might be lower and the groceries and everything else is lower, so the cost of living, comparing it to those areas close by or nearby, are actually higher. So it depends as to how you see it. Now, the next con I would like to touch base is very quiet. If you're looking to have a lot of nightlife and crowdness, Rockland might not be the place for you, because we have very limited nightlife to some extent. We do have some bars and restaurants and stuff like that, but it's not that kind of a nightlife that's really a con to many. We don't have that extremely busy type of or style live plazas on our streets or plenty of spaces like to do those big parties. We do have a lot of parks, and the areas are not crowded per se. So if you're the kind of person who's looking to have that lifestyle, then Rockland is very nice and quiet. That might be maybe a pro to others. Now, if we're going to mention some of the pros, we can say, although we don't have that nightlife, we do have a lot of like shopping outlets and malls that are much more cheaper and inexpensive than many of our areas close by or New York City. We have the Woodbury Mall, which many people know is really close by. We have the Palisades Mall, Nyack Mall, all the brand name stores that you wish to see or have are in there, and they usually have really good discounts and special based on their pricing. Another pro that I would like to say, touching base into the mall as well, is that it's cheaper. We have many more activities that could be either free or inexpensive to many family activities and or even adult activities too. So we have the beer festival, the Oktoberfest, and those kind of events, which for those who like the drinking and the nightlife and stuff like that, they start earlier, but we do have them. It's just that they don't go too late into the day. For example, many of the activities like ice skating in the winter time. If you compare it to New York City, for example, if you're gonna go to Rockefeller Centers or any other area in New York City, they could be like $50+, while here you can do it for $8 per adult, $5 for the kids, or our average is around like $12 if you don't have the equipment. So when you think about the events that you can enjoy and the things that you can do, actually is much less. We have the wineries, we have the beer, the industrial beers where you can just go hang out and have delicious industrial beers and not having to pay an arm and a leg for them and just enjoy yourself. We have many municipalities events like the egg hunting, the Christmas with Santa. Then they do a lot of many great things, not to even mention all the parks that you can go and visit. In other videos that I've made, I mentioned that we have live concerts. So if you enjoy that kind of things, that's really a big pro, because many of the seasonal activities that we do, like in the summertime, you can just grab your beach chair and just go to any of our parks and enjoy the live music, or just go and sit by the water and enjoy yourself and your peace of mind and relaxation completely. We have many of the school events or even the library where I tend to go with my family all the time. Many of them are free. We always go and enjoy ourselves. You don't have to worry about the food or pack or bring even a lot of cash with you, because in most cases, even the food is free, or if the food is there is no extra cost to just go and enjoy the event. So sometimes, for example, at the park, I just grab and go some snacks for the kids. I go, we sit, we do a little picnic and we enjoy the music, or the kids enjoy the egg hunting and they go and have fun, and there's no fee for those. Or even for ourselves, Oktoberfest, you get to try as many beers as you like. It's very inexpensive. Last year I went, it was like $37. They put a wristband as long as you show your ID that you're old enough to drink, and you get to try so many different beers. Mind you, be careful when you come out of there. You might be tipsy. Make sure you bring somebody to drive with you or drive for you that is a designated driver. So that being said, when I've been to the Oktoberfest, for example, in Brooklyn, that I've been to, it's definitely not $37 for other beers that you can drink in Rockland County. We have apple picking. When we go apple picking, the fee is very minimal for going in. Some farms don't even have a fee to go in. Some of them are like $5, and it's all you can eat while you're there and you only pay for the apples that you're taking. Depending on the proximity to the city, for example, the prices of the apples. And the greatest thing for me is that it's not just apples. We have many other fruits and or vegetables that you can go and pick and enjoy. And it's not just about the fruit, it's about the experience. It's about the moment and the memories you create with your family. Which brings me to my next pro, which is nature itself. We have so many great areas to enjoy. We have the High Tour Park, which is one of my favorites. If you miss the city a little bit, like I came from the city initially, from High Tour, if I ever feel like on the city, and I just go and view it from far, and I remember all the things that I have that I'm not missing from the city. And we have the beaches or lakes actually that have the sand by the Hudson River, the Nyack Beach. We have not just one, but several going down, as well as the 7 lakes that you can enjoy. We have biking areas, the trails, so many different activities, not to count the many parks that we have that the kids can enjoy for, but also yourself as an adult. We have so many different things that we can get and still be close by to New York City if you ever want to go or do over there. You cannot get this definitely in New York City as much and enjoyable as you would in Rockland County. Now, there's so many great things that you can do in the areas of Rockland County. It's a suburban area that you definitely cannot get in New York City. You might be able to go to a park, but it might be crowded and get crowded, or the apple picking. I don't even know any place in New York City that you can actually go other than the grocery store or the supermarket, and you don't have the experience and the memories of actually enjoying picking it yourself. For example, we go from the beginning of spring all the way to October to a farm every single month, because every month there's a new fruit or something new, a new vegetable. It's not about picking the vegetables or the fruits, it's also the whole day how we enjoy it. We bring a little blanket, we do a little picnic. I know my kids enjoy it, and we've been going there since they're babies, and now I have a 7 and 8 year olds who ask to go, what day are we going? So it's the memories that we get to create while eating healthy at the same time. Now, there's so many great things in Rockland, but I would like to also point out a next con that I would like to talk to is public transportation. Definitely is much easier to go around Rockland County when you own a car, when you can drive around, but sometimes not every household can have 5 different cars. And if I have 3 kids that I need to be driving around to the extracurriculars and things like that, those are things that we have to take into consideration. Now, we have the public transportation. It's very similar to the bus system in the city, where you, with a little stretch of timing, we have the buses can go like every 35 to 45 minutes depending which route. Now, we don't have a direct train to New York City. We do have 3 areas where we have the train station, but those train stations will be with a transfer to get to the city. Now, in the city, if you miss the bus on this corner, 2 blocks down, I can go catch the next one. We don't have that much of the flexibility when it comes to the public transportation. We do have buses that go straight to the downtown or the upper side of Manhattan. However, it's good to take into consideration that that could be a big con, because it can put on your timing when it comes to moving around. We get to have the train, for example, to make a transfer in Secaucus in New Jersey to then go to Manhattan, but there's no one straight line. Now, another con, and I think this one is a big one, especially for my culture, is that many of us want or prefer, I should say, a property where I can have some investment income, multifamilies per se, where I can live in one level and rent the other. I'm gonna live in the first floor, and then I'm gonna rent the upper level so it can pay for me. We don't have that many options of multifamilies in this area as opposed to many of the properties in the city. For example, I know that in Queens and the Bronx, those are very predominant. We don't have them as much in Rockland County. There is a few, there is a good amount, but not for the high demand that those have, and those tend to go pretty much quick when they do come on the market. And many investors that are not planning also to actually live in them can access them quickly and or purchase them in cash, which leaves us at a disadvantage when we want them, because then the competition is higher. Also, another thing on that point of the multifamily is that many of those properties tend to have higher taxes as well, because of the income that it will provide. Now, the town does limit the amount of renting that we have, which is, I believe, that's just my belief, it's not being confirmed, which is, I think it's one of the reasons why we don't have that many. They don't allow buildings with a lot of rentals in it. It's just to keep the area, the zoning safer and quieter, and we as owner prefer it. Now, part of that reason is also to keep us on the next pro that I would like to mention, which is the school district. The school district could be easily compared, our public school district could easily be compared to private school in the city. That's how good they are. Now, not all of our school districts are amazingly a 10 graded on gradeschool.org. However, as a mom, as a resident, I have experience with the school district. Even those who are maybe at a 5 is a 10 comparing it to the city or to other school areas in, let's say, New Jersey, which are close by areas, or with Connecticut. I'm going to give you one example. There are some schools in Connecticut that they might be very good. However, they don't provide with the bus, they don't provide with the food, and you have to pay for it. You might find that in other areas, the taxes, the school tax and the property tax are lower, but it's because of the school districts. Most of the money from our property tax is actually to support our school district. And as a resident, I have to say I'm very happy with the school district that we belong to. Out there, it says that we are at a 6 out of 10. I give it a 10 out of 10. But that's a subjective topic. It depends on your needs and your desires and what you prefer, in my opinion. Another pro that I will say is the biggest one for me is the quality of life. Now, the last and the biggest pro is the quality of life. For sure. You can put into perspective and into the bundle everything, the cost of living and all the great things out there. And when you put it into one pot and into perspective, definitely es lo mejor that you can have. Basically, if that's what you're looking for, to have that quiet life, that peace of mind, that you can have all the rush in the city if you want to, but we are close enough to be able to relax, to enjoy nature, to go to a good restaurants, to eat, to enjoy, to have more than you can actually possibly imagine, being so close to the main city, and you can still have it all. That has no price. So if you're thinking about moving to Rockland County, make sure to reach out. I hope this video provides some perspective, and let us know what you think, comments, your thoughts, and if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Subscribe to stay updated, and have a great day.